How's it going, everybody? This is your boy Rashid of the Red Pill Diaries. I'm just giving you a brief news update, and I wanted to talk on the recent Crimean Bridge incident and the works of the Ukrainian Special or Secret Service. Um, let me just put it out here for a minute. Both you and I know, and and most of the so-called alternative media, they tiptoe around these facts. And actually, I can't do that. I got to just put it out there like that. And I got to call an ace a ace and a spade a spade. Listen, this incident that took place, let's call it what it is. It was a U.S., British, and NATO attack on Russian territory. That's what it was. That's what it is. Who supplied the weaponry? Who trains? Who gives them the intel? Who gives them the ground intelligence? Who gives them the space-based intelligence to do what they're doing? Who gives them the trajectory and the guidance for their missile systems? Right? Who funds their war machine? Who funds their government? Right? And when you look at what just transpired, what took place, this was an attack on Russia. All right? I don't care how you try to dance around it. I don't care what you say. I don't care the spin that you put on it. This was a U.S., UK, NATO attack on the sovereign territory of the Russian Federation. Now, knowing that, and just like I said that, the Russian president, Vladimir Putin, the foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, the defense minister, Shoigu, right? And the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the Russian Armed Forces, what is his name? Valery Gerasimov. I always butcher his name. Y'all pardon me for that, okay? I am so sorry. I'm not fluent in Russian or any of that other stuff. So please forgive me of that, okay? But my heart is in the right place. So, just like I said that, they know that. But I'm going to tell you something. This would not have been possible had Russia responded more forcefully every time the United States, the UK, and NATO oversteps the boundaries, oversteps the red lines, oversteps international norms, international law, and what's acceptable in global politics. And if you see, I'm out in the country. I live in the country, but I'm on the other side. I'm in the suburbs, and I'm headed back towards my place. Okay, but listen, I don't care how you spin this. I don't care what this is, and both the West and the Russian news will spin this in a way that this was an attack by Ukraine on Russia, right? Now, I want you to understand something. Let me give you an example, because as you know, I am the king of analogies. If I am trying, and I've openly stated my goal was to bleed you to death. My goal was to give you everything that I could give you to help you not only bleed, to help somebody bleed you to death, but not only bleed you to death, but to inflict irreparable damages on you. And I give them your address. I give them your birth, your social security. I give them surveillance of your movements, your whereabouts. Give them surveillance of your family's whereabouts. Give them the information of where your family members live. Give them the arms, the guns, and the armaments, the bullets and everything to use. And then I direct them. I say, listen, they'll be at this place here at this time. When you go and put some scopers out here. When they alert you, I'm going to transfer this weapon to you, and I want you to hit that person's sister or mother or wife or children. Now, in a court of law, even in the Western court of law, if that were to take place, not only I am the guilty one, they would get that person who did it, but they would be called the guns for hire. Right? Ultimately, most and all of the responsibility would fall back on me, because I'm the one planning it. I'm the one funding it. I'm the one giving you actionable intelligence. I'm the one that's giving you the resources, right? And I'm the one that's putting all of the pieces in place on the puzzle. So when the last piece gets put in place and it hits and takes out your family member, yes, the person that did it is going to be held responsible. But in all actuality, and for all intents and purposes, the government will be pressing that person to tell who plotted, planned, on, fund, and put this whole situation together. And that's the person that they would be after the most, right? So let's not play like this does not apply to the situation on the Kerch Bridge. When we have open statements by the National Security Advisor of the United States, we have open statements by the Undersecretary of State, what is her name, Newland. We have Anthony Blinken. All of them were proponents of striking the bridge. All of them. Now, if this is the case and Russia acts softly with a response and does not hit not just Ukraine, but does not hit where it hurts with the United States, and I'm not advocating war, but I'm advocating self-defense. If Russia allows this to continue to go along, then guess what happens? America escalates. And I've told you guys that on multiple occasions that the empire does not stop, does not slow down, does not pause unless she gets a bloody nose. The empire does not recognize the suffering of others. The only time she wants to negotiate, she wants a pause and hostilities is when she is the victim of hostilities, or she has been punched in the nose, or she is suffering. That is when it directly hurts her. Think about Lindsey Graham openly advocating for things like that. Now, this guy is one of the most powerful people in the U.S. Senate. Think about congressmen openly advocating this, right? And think about Joe Biden alluding to situations like this. The president of the United States alluding to situations like this, right? And then you have Newland and Blinken, and then you have the National Security Advisor, all openly stating that they were advocating moves like this while supplying weapons to Ukraine. They're giving them real-time intelligence, targeting positions, the missiles, and the ammunition to do these things. And you're telling me that this is what Ukraine did? Man, get out of here with this foolishness. If I slapped your family, if I did this to your family, would you just say, and I supplied it to somebody else, would you just look at them as the culprits? No, you would want to know who funded, who supplied, who armed, who gave them the intelligence, who gave them the satellite-based intelligence. You wouldn't want to know all of this. And that would bring you to the point where this person was just a pawn. This person was just used by this person to enact this situation. And so you won't just take it out on that person who pulled the trigger. You're going to take it out on the person who made the situation possible. And if Russia does not do that, guess what happens? As I told you before, that the escalation will continue on the part of the West. They are prying and prodding to see what Russia will allow and what. Remember that. Remember that. National Security Advisor openly stated that an attack on Crimea and an attack on the Crimean Bridge would result in a declaration of war on the Russian Federation, and Russia would respond like so. And they openly warned their Western counterparts of this, and yet the West still did it. Why? Because they understand that the cost to pay in Ukraine is a cost that they're willing to pay, because it's not affecting the surrounding areas of NATO territory. If Russia remove the kid gloves and start demonstrating its resolve and its military and political will and capacity, this would then force them, as my mom would say, and pardon me, to piss or get off the potty. This is what would happen. Escalation, Russia fears escalation. Hell, the United States continues escalating. The UK continues escalating. NATO continues to escalate. So if you continue to allow people to slap you, to take your bubble gum, like in junior high school, to take your soda pop, your bubble gum, your bag of chips or whatever, if you continue, guess what? The more you allow that, especially without consequences and repercussions, guess what it happens? The more it escalates. The more respect that is lost by the onlookers of you. They'll say, oh man, that guy's a coward. Oh, that man just talked. Oh, they're not doing. They're just doing just enough not to offend this person. They don't really want it. They're not going to defend themselves. They're scared. And think about the political and economic unions and military unions that Russia is involved in. And the whole world is watching their response. The response of this must be a response that causes those who ordered, armed, fund, and planned this situation to suffer, as well as the ones who took this out. Because this looks more like, to me, an operation by the SAS or something like that, or U.S. Special Forces. And it may have been Ukrainians involved for plausible deniability. But this seems more to me like this is a operation by Western Special Forces that took place. Now, what we need to see is what is Russia's response. Will it be in a couple missile strikes and a couple bombings on Ukraine, or will it be a demonstration of resolve, will, power, militarily and economically and politically? We're waiting. Hey, Vladimir. Hey, Medvedev. Hey, Gerizimo. Garizimo. I think that's his name. And hey, Shoigu. The whole world is watching for your response. This response may make or break your economic unions, your political unions, and your military unions. You better respond, and you better respond the right way. On this door. And I'm not advocating war. I'm not advocating war. I'm not advocating the loss of life, but all I'm doing is advocating truth. Let's look at it from this. And listen, for any sound person, any person with common sense, just tell me whether or not what I'm saying is unreasonable. And if you can't say that what I'm saying is unreasonable or extreme, then you must give it a little thought. You must give it a little, you must contemplate over it just a little bit. Because you can lose a lot on this strike here. Yes, it has no tactical battlefield relevance, but it has a geopolitical and political relevance as the world looks on for this. And people are looking at your weaponry, your air defense systems, your security, and they're saying, hey, if Russia can't do this, and if Russia doesn't respond this way, how can we expect them to respond with us? And let me bring this up too, because this is a very valid and very important point here. This also takes place, and it has everything to do with geopolitics and security. Listen to me good. This also takes place as Russia readies to sign security and military cooperation agreements with almost the entire continent of Africa. Don't lose sight on that. Russia is in the process of signing military agreements and security cooperation agreements with, I think, was 54 African countries. They're holding or about to hold meetings with the delegates from 54 African countries on signing military and security agreements. And at the same time, the United States, the UK, and NATO decides to arm, and I don't think the Ukrainians have the capability to do what was done and strike the Kerch Bridge or strike Crimean territory. This is putting Russia in a bad position if they don't respond and respond forcefully and respond timely. I'm not advocating war. I'm just advocating common sense. All right? Think about what I'm saying. If what I'm saying has weight, then you should employ it. If what I'm saying has no weight, then ignore it and it goes for nothing. But time shall soon prove what I'm saying is right or wrong. On that note, I'll check you on the next one. Peace.